Speaking of Soleimani, you know, the media is still in a state of mourning over his passing. ABC went so far as to send a reporter to Iran to very somberly and respectfully cover the terrorist funeral. Martha Raddatz was on the scene there in Iran, and I think you just need to, you just need to see this.
Good morning, Robin. I have been in the midst of anti-American protests in Iran before, but nothing like this. A powerful combination of grief and anger with shouts of death to America echoing through the streets around us. This morning, mourners filling the streets of Iran's capital of Tehran for the funeral of General Soleimani, killed by that U.S. drone strike last week. Aerial images capturing the sea of Iranians packing the streets to pay tribute to a man revered by many here.
Trump made a big mistake. He killed our hero.
Soleimani's image everywhere. The impact of his death profound. The crowds are massive and emotional. There are many tears here, many signs with Soleimani's picture on them, but the message is also very clear. These people want revenge.
Are we human or not?
As we made our way through the streets of Tehran, people surrounding us, shouting death to America.
We will have very hard revenge of Mr. Trump.
Inside the funeral service, the emotion just as powerful. The supreme leader of Iran weeping and praying over a coffin draped in the Iraqi flag. This is the largest funeral in Iran since the death of the Ayatollah Khomeini in 1989.
Hard Revenge. Doesn't that sound like a Dolph Lundgren movie? Sounds like a B-list action movie from the 80s. Hard Revenge. But you get the idea anyway. This is pure Iranian propaganda. The Iranian government couldn't have scripted it any better. I mean, maybe they did script it. I don't know. No mention of the fact that Soleimani was a murderous scumbag. No mention of him attacking our embassy or killing our troops. No mention of his oppression and torture of many thousands of people. No, instead, we get the story of Soleimani, the beloved hero, now mourned by millions, which, as far as that goes, the media has been very impressed with the turnout for his funeral and for all the mourning, or the millions of people in the street mourning his passing. But remember, this is Iran. So when you hear that millions of people are out bewailing the death of a government official, it's a bit like hearing that there's a 99.99% voter turnout in North Korea, or something like that. It's if you don't show up for the funeral of the dead government official, you could be taking your life into your hands. So the fact that everybody's out there, I'm not sure we should be impressed by that. By the way, side note, maybe you had the same thought when you were watching that clip there. Martha has, as you notice, the scarf, you know, the hijab on her head there, which is kind of interesting because, of course, in fundamentalist Muslim cultures, women aren't allowed to show their heads. Women really can't show any part of their body except for their hands and their faces. And in fact, in the most extreme cases, they can't even show their faces. And why is that? Well, because a woman in these cultures, a woman is owned by the men in her life, her father and then her husband. And for her to let anyone see her head aside from her male owner would be a great sin. Now, feminists in this country complain about the patriarchy and about this alleged systematic oppression of women and so on. But there is no patriarchy here. There is no systematic oppression of women. Women can do and say whatever they want in this country. They can even, as I've gone over many times, they have more rights in this country than men do. They can do things. They have power and authority that men do not have. In fact, very profound power and authority. They can kill their children without the consent of the father. They have power over life and death, judge, jury, and executioner. That's what they can do in this country. Yet in this country, feminists still complain that they're being oppressed. And they look for the patriarchy around every corner, and they try to find every opportunity they can to label something patriarchal oppression. But then they go to Iran, a truly patriarchal country. You want to know what the patriarchy looks like it looks like Iran. That's what the patriarchy is. You've got a country where women are really oppressed, where they can't even show their heads in public. And Martha Raddatz goes there and she wears the scarf on the head in order to respect the custom. That's what I saw online. There was this discussion on social media about the fact that she's wearing that, and the defense that I saw from people as well, she's respecting the local customs. So if it's an anti-woman custom, if it's an oppressive patriarchal custom, you'll respect it? Really? You don't do that here. Or you wouldn't do that here, I should say, because there really aren't any oppressive patriarchal customs here in this country. But you certainly wouldn't. And even many of our customs that are not patriarchal and oppressive, we're told that we don't have to worry about those customs anymore. Hey, you. You right there. Hit the subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It's somewhat appreciated.